In this video, I'm going to show you the San Francisco Bay Ferry, and I'll tell you how to find the pier, how much does it cost, what's the ride like, and I also have a tip for you about avoiding stress when it comes time to buy your ticket. So let's go. The San Francisco Bay Ferry has a number of routes to a variety of locations around the Bay Area. The route that I filmed is the one with the most frequent service, crossing between Oakland and San Francisco 20 times per day on weekdays. It's also their shortest cross-bay route. The boats go between the landing on Jack London Square in Oakland and the ferry building at the foot of Market Street on the Embarcadero in San Francisco. The voyage takes about 25 minutes. The schedule from Oakland to San Francisco is somewhat complicated. Most of the sailings from Oakland are direct, but some of them call on Alameda on the way to San Francisco, and a few of the sailings start in Alameda and then make a stop in Oakland on the way to San Francisco. Before I could ride the ferry, I first had to get to the ferry pier, so my journey began with a trip on Amtrak to Oakland. After arriving at the Jack London Square station, I discovered that getting to the pier was a little tricky. The first challenge is that the train station is situated on the opposite side of the tracks from the waterfront. The train runs down the middle of a street, and they don't allow people just to walk across the tracks. So instead, you must cross using one of the pedestrian bridges. The problem that we encountered was that the vestibule to access the bridges were locked. I'm not sure why the doors were locked. I imagine that it's a security precaution, maybe to prevent people from camping out in there, but in any case, it meant that we had to walk a couple of blocks down the street just so we could cross the railroad tracks. Once we got to the other side and onto Jack London Square, it was not readily apparent where the ferry pier was located, and it's a pretty long waterfront.
Excuse me, do you know which way to the ferry?
Yes, all the way at the end to your left.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
The ferry seems to be all the way down at the north end, Jack London Square. So you want to walk with the water to your left and the train tracks to your right in order to find it.
Eventually, we did start seeing directional signs and we found the pier. All told, we walked about 6 or 7 blocks from the Amtrak station to the ferry building.
We found it, and it looks like the boat's coming in now.
Buying tickets also turned out to be problematic, at least at first. There was a QR code posted that provided a link to download their app and buy tickets. However, even after we installed the app, we still had to create an account before we could make the purchase. We were feeling the pressure of being rushed while trying to do all of this because the ferry was ready to depart. And that's when one of the crew who had been scanning tickets informed us that we could just buy the tickets on board.
Okay, so here's the latest. There was a QR code to buy a ticket, but then you had to have a password and the boat's getting ready to leave. So then the guy said, oh, well, you can just buy it on the boat, which would have been nice if they would have told us that earlier.
If you like that tip, please give this video a thumbs up so that YouTube will let more people know how to avoid this frustration. And by the way, we weren't the only ones who were struggling with this.
So right here in the front where the cash register is where the guy is that you pay. This is super affordable. A little over $2 each way. So for 2 round trips I paid about $9.50. I think it was $9.70. Definitely an affordable way to get across the bay.
While producing this video, I checked on the fares and I think that I may have been charged the senior fare. The information on their website says that the fare for a one-way crossing should have been $4.60, but that's what they charged each of us for a round trip. Also, while doing this research, I learned that the fare just increased on July 1st, so now it's $4.90. The ferry crossing is a little over 6 miles, and it takes about 25 minutes. The route takes you directly under the awesome suspension spans of the Bay Bridge, and if the weather's good, which it wasn't on the day that I filmed this, you can get some great pictures of the passage under that 90-year-old bridge. The ferry ride starts out very slowly because it's 3 miles to the mouth of the channel, so about half of the distance of the sailing and the majority of the time will be at a very slow clip. That's right, the passage through the channel takes much longer than the actual crossing over open water on the bay. Only 3 or 4 minutes after leaving the dock, the skyline of San Francisco comes into view over the bow of the ferry. We still have several more minutes left in the channel before beginning the bay crossing in earnest, but the destination is already in sight. To be told, I didn't mind the slow sailing through the channel at all. As a ship nerd, I loved the leisurely passage because it provided an up-close and personal vantage of the Leviathan cargo and naval ships berthed along the channel. Here's the USNS John Glenn, a Navy vessel with an unusual shape because it was designed to accommodate hovercraft. Finally, out of the channel and into the San Francisco Bay. Enjoy the passage under the bridge as the ferry heads directly toward the ferry building in San Francisco. After less than a half an hour, you're in San Francisco, right at the foot of Market Street, with easy connections to BART or the cable cars or the historic trolleys that can take you directly to Fisherman's Wharf. It's a really easy, fun, and affordable way to explore San Francisco. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that you found this information helpful, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. That's how YouTube decides whether to share it with more people. If you have any corrections or suggestions for me, please put those in the comments below. I read every single one of them. And if you enjoy the content on my channel, I'd be honored to have you as a subscriber. This is Postcard Dan in San Francisco.